Okay guys, welcome back to episode 3 of my Australian Work and Holiday series. Really appreciate you tuning back in. If you are liking these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. It would really appreciate it. It's a big help to me. Okay, so today we're talking about the banking, taxes, and your superannuation details. Now, most of this is pretty simple, but I will run through more of the complicated stuff with you, actually showing you how to fill it out. The first thing in terms of banks. So there's 4 big banks in Australia. First one is NAB, then there's Commonwealth, Westpac, and ANZ. All these are pretty great and they're very widespread. So those are the ones I would recommend you go to, just because you can find them all over. And I haven't had a problem finding any banks. I'm with NAB personally and I really enjoy it. Filling out a bank account and getting a bank account for yourself is really easy. Basically, you just show up to one of the branches. Now, I recommend you show up to one of the branches where you tend to settle for a little bit because the process is a little bit long. When you show up there, you need to have 2 to 3 pieces of ID, and you need to have proof of residence, and you need to have proof that you're in Australia for a year. So bring your visa, bring 3 pieces of ID, whether it's a driver's license, passport, health card, your international driving license, birth certificate, anything like that. And then make sure you have proof of residence. So either a copy of your lease if you have an apartment, a receipt from the hostel in case you are staying something like that. If you're staying in a share or if you have family here, maybe bring a power or electric bill or something like that. It really doesn't matter. When I did it, I didn't require it, but some banks do require that kind of information. I recommend going with those 4 banks. I think that's really essential. And that's pretty much it. You really just show up there and ask them to fill it out. Then, unlike Canada, I don't know if any of you are similar in other countries, but in Canada, usually when you get a bank account, they actually give you the card right there. In this one, they send it to you, right? So that's why your information is really important. You can either get it sent to the residence you are, so your hostel or apartment or whatever it is, or you can get it sent to the branch. So make sure when you do apply for an Australian bank account, you are staying in that area for a couple weeks, as it can take about 5 to 8 business days or something like that. Sometimes mine has taken up to 2 weeks actually when I had a second bank card when I lost the first one. So just make sure you're in the area. I always get it sent to the branch, that way it's a little bit quicker, and that way you know they have it for you and it doesn't get lost. Okay, secondly is a tax file number. Now this is really important. This is just your identification number for filling out your taxes, which if you plan to work in Australia, you absolutely need one of these. It's really easy to fill out. You basically just go to the Australian tax file website, right? And you fill it out and you get a specific number. I think it's a 9-digit number that is just for you, right? So I'll show you how to do that now and actually how to fill the process, all the information required, and that it's really streamlined. Okay, guys, so finding a tax file number is pretty simple. You just go to Australian tax file number. You can just Google this and then it comes up here. This is where you want to go, the ato.gov.au site. It says the Australian Taxation Office. You click that and right away it opens here. It talks about how it's free, what you do, how do you apply, if it's lost or stolen, anything like that. So you can click this here, and then you're for anyone on a working holiday, you'll be a foreign passport holder, permanent migrant or temporary visitors TFN application. If you want, you can read this, who can apply, visa with working rights, which is where you are here. Okay, so then you just click apply for online for a TFN. This is who can apply online, so it details what you are. Make sure you read through this, so make sure you are on the right visa. If you're on a visitor's visa or anything, obviously you don't apply for this, guys. If you wish to advise the HEO, changes to your details, anything like that. If any of your information has changed, you can do that here too. Next one, this is another informational page. Okay, so here, this is where you just enter your passport number. So I'll just make one up, HN 5612338, 5323897. I'm from what country you're from. If you visit Australia for yes or no. Next. Okay, so this is very similar to when you filled out your visa application. It's just basically a personal information. Give me a second, I'll fill this out. Okay, so that's basically what it looks like. What is your gender, male, everything like that, guys. Really easy. If you are traveling with a spouse, of course, you have to fill that out. Most of you will be traveling alone. Okay, this is 16 TFN, ABN, or CRN information. If you've had one before, then you click yes. And have you ever had a TFN or ABN in your name before? No. So yours will all be no for this, right? Of course, you will get this telephone number before you event, but if you happened to have filled out taxes before without TFN, then you need to click this. So no, do you own property or other business interest in Trinidad? No. Do you authorize ATO to send TFN, your TFN to Centerlink? I would say no personally, just because you don't have a Centerlink if you're a visitor. Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is because I have already filed a tax number and it's not a actual number. The next page, literally you just file it and then they let you know in a few days. They'll give you a reference number which you can use to work until you get your number, and then after that they'll just email you a final tax file number or get it mailed to you, I believe. Okay, so as you see, it's really simple and quick. It's not a big process, but it is a very essential number, and make sure you keep that number with you. Make sure you have that number, either a photo of it or a copy of it in your email or something like that, because every time you get a job, you will need that, and you also need it when you go to fill out your taxes. Okay, so the final thing is a superannuation. Now, if you're like me, you have no idea what this is. In Canada, we don't have anything like this, and especially the name of it, I had no idea what I was supposed to do with that. I didn't even need it. No, I needed it until I got a job. And then they're like, okay, you need to fill this out. A superannuation is basically a government retirement fund for you. So basically what they do is every company you work for sets aside a certain amount of money based on your income, and that goes into a retirement saving plan for you. Now, this is usually for Australians to have when they're later age, so when you retire you can access it, but for backpackers we do get to access it when we leave Australia, since we will no longer be able to. So when you leave Australia you are able to apply to get it, and you get, I believe it's 60 to 66% of it, because they charge you a 30% or so tax on it, and then you get that when you leave. Now there is a whole bunch of different superannuation accounts. A lot of banks will have it with you. So I know people that have been with Westpac or something like that, and they have it attached to their bank account, which is great. Otherwise, there's a lot of smaller funds. I mean, you can talk to your employer, or you can just Google funds that are in your area or work specifically with what you're doing. I'm personally with one called Sun Super, and I find it really easy to use. It's really, their customer service when I have had to call them is really efficient, and they have a great app that lets you see every contribution. It'll notify you when contributions are being made, show you your total, and then they help you withdraw it when the time comes. So I do recommend that if you're in the area. I was in Queensland when I got it, so I'm not sure if it's specifically for Queensland, but I've had no problem using it all over Australia. That's really it today, guys. Make sure with all this stuff, it's just basically simple stuff. A lot of it's the same as home, but it's just stuff you want to keep note of. The bank account's really important. Make sure you get one of the big four. That way you don't have a problem getting anything, getting money out or notifying a bank in any area. Make sure you are in an area for a while when you order your bank card so that you can actually get it. The tax file number, make sure you have it before you start applying for jobs, right? Because you will need that. You can't get paid without the tax file number. And make sure you keep it handy. Do not lose that number, forget the number. You can, of course, go find it later with the website, but it's a bit of a hassle. And the superannuation, make sure you get that too. That's not something that you actually need to work. A lot of companies, you don't actually require it, right? Which it's a free money. It's just money into your account, guys. It's your money. You don't want to be losing that, right? So other than that, just keep an eye on those things, and that's it for this week. Next week, we'll be talking about hostels and where to stay. So it's going to be a bigger one like that, where to stay, actually getting yourself here, apartments and everything like that. I'm going to talk about all that, and it's going to be a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.